Hi, and thank you for helping proctor the Practice ACT for our juniors this year. I just want to go over a few things so that you're prepared for the day. First, when you come on Wednesday, October 10th, make sure you visit the College and Career Room, or A50, that's where I'll be, and get your bin of testing materials. This is Ms. Dills. So you'll have a bin like this filled with all kinds of stuff that I'm getting ready to show you. First thing that you'll see are your administration directions, and it just goes over a few things that I'm going to highlight now so you're prepared for the day. One, you all will want to have some other additional materials than what I'm putting in this bin. The first thing are tissues. Second thing, there should be calculators in your testing room from the math department. You want to use a timing device. Since this is not a secure test, you're welcome to use your phone, a stopwatch online, your smartwatch, anything to time the students. Pencils or pens. I don't have enough testing pencils to provide to the whole school, so if you could provide pencils or pens to students, that'd be great. Some tape, as you want to be able to adhere things to the door of your testing location. And then the last thing are the answer sheets. This year we are giving the Practice ACT through GradeCam. So I have provided you test booklets, and I've created the test in GradeCam. So what you need to do is log into GradeCam. You should see 4 assignments that I've shared with you. Practice ACT English, Math, Reading, and Science. Once you open those assignments, click Forms. And from there, you can print the forms that you'll need for your class. You're probably thinking, should I just print blank ones? No. Garnet Coy has created classes for you. So when you go to print the forms, select a class, and rather than clicking on a class that you typically have, look for one that's entitled Practice ACT, and that should be your group of students that you'll have for test day. So you can print those forms, and it will print with their state ID number and their name at the top of the form, which will make this a lot easier. So once you get into your location on testing day, make sure you've got all that stuff already prepared ahead of time. Double check, look around, make sure things are covered up so that it's an authentic testing environment for students. Go ahead and tape your testing do not disturb sign to your door so we know that it's a testing room and that you're ready to get started. Next thing that you want to do is take those answer sheets that you've printed, and you can either pass out all 4 of them to the students, or you can just pass out the English one, the first test answer sheet on their desk. This will ensure that they don't accidentally use the wrong one, so I would just put the English answer sheet at their desk. This way it'll work as kind of like a seat label, and when students come in they can find their seats, and you won't have to worry about making other post-it notes or labels for them to find where they need to go. As students start to arrive, make sure you're collecting all their electronic devices, turn them off, and store them for the duration of the test. They can have their devices back after we finish testing completely, or after you have in your room. Next thing that you want to do is go ahead and take attendance. You should have 2 copies of your roster. You've got one where you can take attendance, and you're going to want to tape this to your door so that we can collect it and turn it into the attendance office. The next one, take attendance on this and put it back in your bin so that I know who is present and who is absent from testing. If you have any students who are showing up after you're ready to get started, call the safe room 2517, as we have areas in the building for students to go who are tardy or who are new enrollees and can't find their name on the roster. Next thing that you want to do is you want to pass out a test booklet to every student. You might have a book or you might have a copy. If you have a book, it starts on page 11, as you can see down here. If you have a copy, it'll look just like this, a packet. Students should write on these, so when they first get them, make sure that all students print their first and last name and put their academy code, an optional code, on there. And there's a list in your directions of what the codes are. So if you have all engineering students, for example, they would write a 02. They should also make sure that their first and last name and this code is on their answer sheet. I would just have them all double check that. Next thing that you want to do after you get everybody started is explain to students why they're doing this. Make sure that they understand that we're going to use this data to group them in flex classes in the spring in order to prepare for the state assessment that KDE is going to give the 11th graders. We're not sure if it's ACT or SAT yet, but this will still serve as a solid practice and review for them. Next thing that you want to do is start the first test. Make sure that you start the English test by 9 a.m. Tell students that they need to fill in their answers completely and that they should not leave any questions blank. The English test takes 45 minutes and it has 75 questions. While students are working, make sure that you're circulating If for any reason you need something, that's what this sign is for. If you tape this to the outside of your door, our hallway monitors know that that means either you need a break, you have a student who needs a break, or you maybe have a question that you need help with. You can also always call me at 2050 in the College and Career Room, where I'll be located during testing day if you have a question. Okay, next thing you want to do. So they're working on that English 1 test. You could go ahead and pass out calculators to all the students. You can also, any extra copies of the test, you can return those to the bin, right? Because we don't want to get rid of those. We could use them later. So any extras, go ahead and put back in there. You can also distribute their next answer sheet for the math section. Make sure you warn students when there's 5 minutes remaining in the test. And as soon as time is up, call time and then start the math test. Again, remind students to make sure they don't leave any questions blank. Have them double check that their first and last name and code is on their answer sheet for math, and tell them that they have 60 questions in 60 minutes and that they can use their calculator. Once you start the time, continue circulating, but you can also go ahead and use GradeCam on any device that you have to score the answer sheets from test 1, the English test that they've already finished. The next thing that you want to do is make sure that you give them that 5 minutes remaining warning on test 2, math. Then you'll call time, and at this point, the students get a 15-minute break. They can stand up, stretch. If they want to leave the room, you need to collect their materials, and as soon as the 15 minutes is up, whether they're back or not, it's time to start the next test. So at this point, students will take test 3, reading. They'll have 35 minutes to answer 40 questions. They want to make sure that their first and last name and code is on that answer sheet again. And they want to make sure they don't leave any questions blank. While students are working through test 3, reading, you can take up their calculators and go ahead and properly store those school calculators. Go ahead and give them the next answer sheet, the science one. You could score test 2, math, using GradeCam. And again, give them that 5 minutes remaining warning. Lastly, you're going to call time on test 3 and immediately start test 4, science. Students have 35 minutes and 40 questions, again, on this section. Make sure they don't leave any blank. Make sure to remind them that they put their name, first and last, and their code on their answer sheet. And while they're working, you can go ahead and score test 3, right, reading. And again, remind them that they have 5 minutes remaining when that time occurs. After that time is up, you can take up the test 4 and go ahead and score those. And you should make sure that every student has a packet now. They've got their original test booklet that they've put their name on, and then they should have 4 answer sheets, 1 for each section, completed and scored. So make sure you have all that done before you put it back in the bin to return. Next thing, you can review the lunch schedule with students. You'll notice that all 11th graders taking the Practice ACT have first lunch, which on Wednesday will be from 12:30 to 12:55 p.m. So students will go to lunch. If you're finished with all of your materials, you can send them back to me with a student or a hallway monitor, or bring them back yourself. Or if you still need to score some, keep them and let me know, and then just drop them off before you leave that day. The most important thing to remember at the end is that all students are going back to their same testing locations with their same proctors. So after lunch, the students should come back to you. A few of you will actually gain some additional students because we have some 11th graders who registered to take the PSAT National Merit Qualifying Test. Those students, when they finish their test, will go to lunch and then be assigned to 11th grade rooms. If you're curious as to who those students are, you can sort the roster by the afternoon location column and find your name, and you'll be able to see all the students who are assigned to you. I think that's about it. Double check my list here. If you have any questions or concerns after watching this short video and looking through the stuff that I've emailed you, just let me know. But I'm sure you'll do a great job, and I really appreciate your help. Thank you.